Okay, so usually when you hear the letters GMO, your brain, it goes straight to a very specific place. So you're
Hmm.
thinking about, scientists in white lab coats, maybe gene splicing.
Right. Very heavy, serious stuff. Maybe some debates in the grocery store.
Exactly. It's a loaded topic.
It is. But today, we are pivoting hard. We are not talking about laboratory
No
science.
fish genes in tomatoes today.
Definitely not. We're talking about a legend.
A dynasty, really. I mean,
Yeah,
we're looking at a single plant lineage that has just completely hijacked the flavor palette of an entire industry.
it really has.
We're talking about a family tree that's responsible for some of the wildest, funkiest, and honestly, some of the most hilariously named things you can find.
Oh, sure.
I mean, we've got burgers, we've got breath, dirty taxi,
Uh,
and yes, we are going to have a serious analytical discussion about something called unicorn poop.
we certainly are. And look, the name might be funny, but the genetics, that's serious business.
So here's the setup for everyone listening. We're diving into this really comprehensive genealogy from Nug Notes, specifically their breakdown of the GMO family tree.
Yeah.
And our mission today is to trace how just one plant, one specific genetic, I guess, accident spawned this entire garlic-flavored empire.
And empire is not an exaggeration. The goal here is to really trace the genealogy of the GMO clone. We're looking at how just one, genetic selection branched out into, what, over 300 direct descendants?
300, that's insane.
It is. And it created these entirely distinct, lanes of flavor. We're going to see how the same parent can give you a savory, meaty burger on one hand and then a fruity cocktail on the other.
It's wild to think about the sheer volume of garlic funk DNA out there. You walk into a dispensary pretty much anywhere now, and you just can't escape it.
You really can't.
So let's start at the very bottom, the trunk of the tree. Where does this beast actually come from?
Okay, so to understand the tree, you have to look at the base genetics. The formula itself is pretty famous in breeding circles, but it's often misunderstood. It all starts with a cross called garlic cookies.
Garlic cookies, which sounds either delicious or terrifying, depending on your palate.
Exactly. And genetically, garlic cookies is a cross between ChemD and Girl Scout cookies, but specifically the forum cut.
Okay, that detail matters, right? The forum cut.
It matters a lot. You have to understand the parents to get the child.
Yeah.
The forum cut of cookies, that was the one everyone wanted for, like bag appeal.
Yeah.
The density, the purple colors, the frost. It was the beauty queen.
Okay, so you have the looker.
You've got the liquor, but then you have TemD, and that is pure power. That's the gas, the funk, the raw potency. It's an older line, known for being incredibly strong, but maybe not the prettiest plant.
So it's the classic Beauty and the Beast scenario. The beauty of the cookies and the brawn of the chem.
That's a perfect way to put it. And the breeder who put them together, that was Mamiko.
Mamiko.
Yeah.
So they made the cross.
Correct. Mamiko seeds created the stock. They played matchmaker. But, and this is the crucial part that gets lost if you're not deep in this world, Mamiko is the breeder, but they are not the selector of the GMO we know.
Break that down. I think most people assume if you buy a pack of seeds, they're all the same plant.
Right, and that's the common misconception. Seeds are not clones. You can pop 100 seeds from the same parents, and they'll be like siblings. They share DNA, but they're all different.
Some are tall, some are short.
Exactly. Some smell like the mom, some like the dad. GMO is one specific clone selected from that whole batch of garlic cookies seeds. It was the prodigy child, the outlier.
The 1 in a million shot.
Pretty much. And the person who found that prodigy, the architect of this entire lineage we're talking about, that was Skunk Masterflex of Skunk House Genetics.
Oh, okay.
He's the one who popped the seeds, waded through all the variations, and he saw the potential in this one specific phenotype. It wasn't just strong, it had this super savory, garlic-heavy thing going on, and it yielded like crazy. He kept it, he labeled it GMO, and that one cut became patient zero.
That's a huge moment. I mean, one specific cut selected by Skunk Masterflex from Mamiko stock becomes the trunk for everything else.
Yeah.
It's amazing how fragile that is if he hadn't kept that one plant, this conversation.
It wouldn't exist. We'd probably still be stuck on lemons and berries.
So Skunk Masterflex has this trunk. He has the GMO cut. What does he do with it?
He goes to work, he starts building what we now call the burger lane, and this is the first major branch of the tree, and honestly, it's the core engine of Skunk House Genetics.
The burger lane. You see burger everywhere now. This is where it starts.
This is ground zero for burgers. They took that GMO clone and started breeding it back into itself and other related lines. The goal was just to amplify those savory traits, make it louder, funkier. It starts with Han Solo Burger.
Which is GMO crossed with Larry OG.
Correct. So think about the structure there. GMO can be a really lanky, stretchy plant. It grows like a vine.
Right.
Larry OG is a classic OG Kush varietal lemon pine solid structure. So by crossing them, you're trying to tame the GMO a bit, add some structure, but keep all that funk.
But they didn't stop there. They took Han Solo Burger and then crossed it back to GMO.
And that's Donny Burger.
Okay, so Donnie Burger is GMO times Han Solo Burger.
Mm.
But Han Solo Burger is already half GMO. So you're just doubling down on the GMO genetics.
Exactly. It's a technique called backcrossing. You're trying to lock in the traits you love, that heavy, savory, almost meaty profile, while stabilizing the plant. You're just concentrating the flavor.
And it keeps going, right, to double burger and triple burger.
Yep. By the time you get to triple burger, which is GMO crossed with double burger, you are recursively stacking that DNA.
So triple burger is basically just GMO on steroids. It's distilled funk.
You are swimming in garlic at that point. It's incredibly potent, and the flavor is just undeniable. And because of this work, burger became synonymous with this entire lane.
Yeah, it normalized the idea that this stuff could smell like dinner. You see it everywhere now. Larry Burger, Mac Burger. I think I even saw burgers and beer.
Burgers and beer, yeah. It really highlights how dominant that branding became. Skunk House basically created a new category of flavor.
They proved people wanted to smoke something that smelled like I don't know, a grease trap, but in the best way possible.
Which brings us to the next branch. Still savory, but it hits different. We're moving from the burger lane to the breath lane.
The breath lane. The notes describe this one as garlic funk plus heavy gas.
And the key player here, the one shifting the direction, seems to be Thug Pug Genetics.
Thug Pug is legendary for this stuff. They took the GMO cut and crossed it with Mendo breath, and that gives us garlic breath.
So for someone who doesn't know Mendo breath, what's that bringing to the table? Why mix that specific strain with GMO?
Mendo breath is this indica-dominant powerhouse. It has this deep, earthy, almost vanilla caramel funk. Structurally, the plants are really stout and hearty.
Yeah.
So when you mix that with GMO, you're kind of smoothing out the sharp, aggressive garlic notes. You're weighing it down.
So if the burger lane is sharp and savory, the breath lane is more heavy and dense.
Precisely. It creates a very physical experience. This is the couch lock side of the family tree.
And Thug Pug kept going. Right. They also gave us meat breath.
Meat breath, which it's an evocative name.
It really is.
That's meatloaf crossed with Mendo breath.
Yeah.
That's right in. And you also have mule fuel, which is GMO crossed with Mendo montage.
So the pattern is pretty clear. You take GMO and you anchor it with these heavy Mendo genetics.
You're adding bass to the music. It's dark, it's heavy, it's super popular for things like pain relief or sleep because of that heavy body effect. It's not the kind of thing you smoke before you go run a marathon.
Definitely not. Okay, so we've got burgers for the savor lovers. We've got breath for the heavy hitters. But what if I don't want to feel like I just ate a 4-course steak dinner? What if I want something sweeter?
Well, that's where the opposites attract branch comes in. This is the exotic and candy lane.
This is the one that really surprises me. Mixing garlic with candy, it feels, I don't know, like putting ketchup on ice cream. Does it actually work?
It works incredibly well, but you have to understand the chemistry. It's about complexity. The savory notes from the GMO, they act almost like salt in caramel. They actually enhance the sweetness. They give the candy genetics a body and a lingering aftertaste that they sometimes lack on their own.
And we have to talk about the headliner here. We teased it. Thug Pug Genetics again. Unicorn poop.
An absolute marketing masterpiece.
It really is. I mean, you see that name on a menu, you have to ask about it. You can't just ignore it. So what is it?
Unicorn poop is GMO crossed with a strain called Sophisticated Lady.
Sophisticated Lady. The irony of crossing a lady with GMO to get poop is, it's palpable.
It is. But it represents that clash perfectly. You have the raw funk of GMO meeting this more refined, sweet profile. And this just opened the floodgates. You've got GMO Skittles, Hype Train, and Ground Zero, which is a mix of GMO, Oreos, and lemon cherry gelato.
Wow, that sounds complicated.
It's the modern palate. It's sweet, it's creamy, but it has that dank undercurrent. If it's just sweet, it can be a little boring. The GMO makes it loud. It gives it that stank that cuts through everything.
And within this same branch, the notes mention a fruit juice lane. So this is where the funk meets citrus.
Right, like Garlic Cocktail from Uprising Seed Co. That's GMO crossed with mimosa.
And mimosa is just straight orange juice and champagne, super bright.
Super bright, very citrusy. So you mix that with garlic, and you get this weirdly addictive, funky citrus thing.
Like a Bloody Mary almost, or a savory margarita.
That's a great way to put it, yes. A savory cocktail.
Yeah.
You also have garlic juice by Oni Seed Co., which is GMO and papaya,
Yeah.
and melted strawberries, which uses strawberry guava.
I've heard breeders talk about how papaya and strawberry strains wash really well for hash. Does the GMO help with that?
Absolutely, that's a huge part of this fruit lane. GMO is what they call a dumper. It produces mass amounts of trichomes, the resin glands.
Huh.
A lot of fruity strains smell great, but don't yield much oil. By crossing them with GMO, breeders are trying to get that tropical flavor, but with the heavy resin production of the GMO. It boosts the volume and makes it viable for extraction.
So it's a utility cross as much as it is a flavor cross. That makes sense.
Okay, moving on to branch 4. We've had dinner, we've had cocktails.
Yeah.
Now it's time for dessert.
The dessert and cream lane. This is where we see chocolate, mints, and gelato getting mixed in.
And some big names here. I see Wonka bars.
Wonka bars by Exotic Genetics. That's
That's
GMO crossed with mint chocolate chip. It's a perfect example, minty, chocolatey, but with that underlying earthiness. It's like a peppermint patty that fell in the dirt, but in a good way.
Only in this industry is dirt a compliment. Exactly. And then you have First Class Flark, which is GMO times jet fuel gelato. That one sounds expensive.
It does.
It's a powerhouse. Jet fuel gelato is already creamy gas. You add GMO, and it just becomes incredibly pungent. And then there's Monsanto mints GMO crossed with Kush mints.
Monsanto mints. I love how the GMO name directly influences the offspring's name. They're really leaning into the bioengineering joke.
They are. And there's an interesting call-out in the notes here for a sister line called Cookies and Chem. It's cookies and cream crossed with ChemDog 4. Now, strictly speaking, it's not a direct child of the GMO clone.
But the cousin.
It's a genetic cousin, exactly. It just shows how strong that cookies meets chem combination is. It's a winning formula.
It's all in the family. Okay, so we've talked about a lot of new school flavors, fruit, candy, mints, but what about the purists? The people who like this stuff when it just smelled like fuel and tires?
For them, we have branch 5, returning to roots. This is the gas, chem, and OG lane.
The heavy hitters.
The heaviest. This is where breeders took GMO and crossed it back into the families that created it, the OGs and the chems, to strip away the sweetness and just double down on the power.
They're not trying to make it tasty, they're trying to make it strong.
That's it. So you've got Fatso, which is GMO cookies crossed with Legend OG.
A very appropriate name.
You have TKO by Skunk House, which is GMO crossed with Triangle Kush.
Triangle Kush is a legend in its own right, the Florida classic.
It is. Arguably the mother of all OGs. Yeah. Crossing GMO with Triangle is basically trying to create the ultimate indica. Then there's Platinum Garlic by In-House and Layer Cake by Swamp Boys, which is a complex beast.
That sounds like a knockout punch.
It is. And we can't forget the diesel connection, the Chem Diesel Sour Lane.
The gas station vibes.
Yes. Strains like Dirty Taxi.
Dirty Taxi. I love that name because you know exactly what it smells like.
It's GMO crossed with ChemDog and I-95. Just pure road grime and funk. And SMO from Top Dog Seeds, which is GMO, crossed with Sour Diesel BX2. These are for people who want that nose-burning, eye-watering potency. They want the loud.
It's just interesting that for all the fruity options, there's still this massive demand for Dirty Taxi.
It speaks to the diversity of the consumer.
Okay, we're coming down to the final branch, and this one is labeled the modern and the weird.
This is where things get really experimental. These are the polyhybrids. We're seeing breeders take GMO and mix it with other ultra-complex modern lines.
Polyhybrid. We hear that term a lot. What does that mean, simply?
So a landrace is pure. A hybrid is a simple cross of two. A polyhybrid is like a mutt with a pedigree a mile long. You're crossing two plants that are already complex mixtures of 4 or 5 other plants. You're stacking traits on top of traits. It's genetic maximalism.
And the names just get better and better, I'm looking at. 8-inch bagel.
8-inch bagel. That is GMO crossed with Project 4516.
Project 4516 is one of those mysterious numbered strains, right?
It is. It represents that new wave of exotic genetics. Very high bag appeal, super purple, very photogenic. Mixing that with GMO is an attempt to create the ultimate modern flower. Looks like a supermodel, hits like a heavyweight.
And then we have Dirty Laundry.
GMO crossed with GMO 8, a back cross of sorts.
Filthy Sugar.
GMO crossed with root beer pebbles.
Root beer pebbles. Now we're getting obscure.
It's a real flavor profile. There's actually a root beer lane mentioned in the notes. It brings out this sassafras, earthy sweetness. It's distinct from the fruit and the candy. It's more herbal.
And garlic butter.
GMO crossed with fortune cookies. It seems like there's really no limit to what you can cross this plant with.
I have to ask up the modified lane, too. I've seen that popping up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Strains that are basically named for the GMO effect.
Modified grapes, modified banana, modified God. It's like they're just acknowledging that the GMO genetics literally modify whatever they touch.
They do, they dominate. If you cross something with GMO, it's going to taste like GMO. It's a very dominant parent. It tends to stretch the plant out, make the buds denser, and just overwrite the other flavors with that loud garlic funk. So modified is a very accurate description. It basically bullies the other genetics.
So let's zoom out. We've walked through the burgers, the breath, the candy, the dessert, the gas, and now the weird. When you step back and look at this deep dive, the scale is just, it's mind-blowing.
It's statistically staggering. The source lists approximately, 318 to 319 direct descendants of GMO?
Over 300 children from one single clone.
And that's just what's recorded on this specific tree. The Burger Lane alone has about 10 named strains. The gas and OG side has around 37. The dessert and fruit side has like 28.
It's a massive footprint.
It is. And you have to remember, this all started with one guy, Skunk Masterflex, finding one plant in one pack of seeds from Mamiko. That one single selection event permanently altered the flavor landscape of the entire industry.
That's the real aha moment for me. We went from a world dominated by Blue Dream and OG Kush, berries and pine and lemon, to a world where garlic, meat, and burger are just normal flavor descriptors.
It normalized the funk. It made savory acceptable, even desirable. And that brings up a really interesting question for the future.
What's that?
With garlic now so deeply embedded in the genetic pool, I mean, we're seeing these BX programs in the notes, things like Garlic Widow and Candied Garlic. Where does the flavor spectrum even go next?
Right. If we've already done unicorn poop and dirty laundry, what's the next frontier? Have we hit a wall of weirdness?
Exactly. Do we get weirder? Or do we circle back? When you have a flavor as dominant as GMO, it forces breeders to get even more creative, to find something new that can stand up to it. It has raised the bar for what loud even means.
Well, I, for one, am ready to see what Dirty Taxi evolves into. Maybe Filthy Uber. Who knows? But seriously, it's a fascinating look at how these trends move. It's not random. It's a family tree.
Let's hope not on the Filthy Uber. But yes, always look up the lineage. If you know the parents, you know what you're getting into.
Huge thanks to Nugnotes for mapping this incredible family tree out. It really shows there's a serious history behind all these crazy names.
Absolutely. Stay educated on your genetics.
Stay curious, everyone. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.
Take care.